When you call someone's name, you're acknowledging their existence. You're acknowledging that they were here. When you're not talking about it or acknowledging, it's like they're dying again.
So part of this project is to reclaim the identities of those folks who are buried in the cemetery. Because it's important for you to feel part of the discovery at this site during the construction of this facility. I'm going to start us off with a video.
A construction site has turned into an excavation site. Crews working on a Fort Bend ISD building
uncovered human remains that turned out to be the unmarked graves of 94 men and 1 woman.
Archaeologists exhumed the century-old bones and determined they belonged to 94 males and 1 female, one as young as 14, one as old as 70. Black prisoners, among them former slaves, forced to work on plantations and railroads after slavery ended, part of the statewide convict leasing system.
Some of the descendants of these individuals have stories, and those stories are what's helping us to be able to make meaning of the cemetery, figuring out who they are, but most importantly, being able to say their names again.
I have been doing genealogy research in my family for years. There were males in our family missing, but I didn't know what happened to them. And one of the men that was missing was Isaac Rhodes. So I looked and I found him in this record. One of my relatives is a Sugarland 95 member. When you're doing research in your family, you don't really want to talk about the bad things. You just want to let the good things shine. History is sometimes good, sometimes bad. You have to take your personal feelings out. It's not really about you. We can't pick and choose what history you want to tell. We have to address all of it.
You don't hear a lot about what happens after slavery. They took sugar, a product of their hard work, and they used it and they packaged it and they sold it.
You start thinking about the lives of these people, of what they went through. How many of you have seen real sugar cane?
Harvesting sugar cane, you're hacking at it, and hacking at it, and hacking at it until finally it falls down. You're pulling at the bark. Your hands are getting torn and bloodied, and you're going to pass it through these huge stone rollers. And oftentimes your hand would get caught. Pushing like that or working like that is incredible to survive, to fight for your life.
What is it that you gain from coming out here and observing the cemetery?
You only ever hear about it, like you never see the evidence.
Yeah, it usually seems like real.
The cemetery is a natural point of attraction. And so we want to make sure that the cemetery space provides the community with the same benefit that the internal exhibit does.
We hope to build this outdoor learning area.
It's a place where we can come and start healing, not only for those who were a part of what happened, but for the new generation.
Today we're going to talk about the homecoming and the homegoing. Homecoming. What do we think that means? Returning home, right? And then homegoing. What does that mean? Leaving home. How many of you have ever heard that in a unique context?
Funerals.
The young lady mentioned that she's heard it before in context of a funeral. Because the notion of a homegoing is a ceremonious event to lay someone to rest with the hope that they go to heaven. We work with a design firm to help us vision what a proper memorial site would and could and should look like. And how could it be befitting of a true homegoing celebration?
What Chastity was presenting yesterday to the students, the homegoing service, this idea that we can physically represent those phases of the wake, of the service, of the procession, and then ultimately of the repass here on this site. As you're approaching the site, you have this sense of a forest. There's shade, but it's also this symbolic reference to the families, the loved ones, the communities of these folks that are still here. And within that, there's this clearing. There's this void, which is the burial ground. For the next part of a homegoing service, you have the procession. There will be a boardwalk that allows you to walk over, through, and amongst the markers, then ultimately ending at a larger pavilion structure as the repast, this celebratory moment, where there is an opportunity to bring a larger group of folks for some of the annual celebrations that are already taking place here, to acknowledge this history, as well as to think about the lives of these individuals, the impact that they had on building this place that we now call Sugar Land, and how this history can actually call the rest of us now to action.
So it gives people the opportunity now to discuss that without holding back and without having fear, because a lot of times we didn't talk out of fear. And that's what happened in a lot of small towns.
I knew about the history of convict leasing. I just didn't think it was in my family. Let it breathe. Don't let it die.
These convict labor programs were all across the South, and more than just Texas. There were hundreds of them.
We want to be the blueprint of this type of situation. And we want to be able to share that blueprint with others.
Now it's like a monument, the bigger, like it's able to expand.
The 95 lives over there, they stood for something. They died for something. We need to memorialize them, not for us, nationwide, so America can see Fort Bend County did the right thing.